Hi guys, this film is a little bit different because one of my subscribers has asked me a couple of questions and I'm going to answer one of them in this film right now. So the question is, what was the most emotionally challenging time during my taper experience, beginning, middle or end? And this person also makes a comment about something Dr Breggin says, and that is that some people get anxious and reduce the final dose too fast right at the end stages. So all of that I'm going to talk about right now. Sorry about this strange positioning. I'm in the middle of the woods and I don't have my usual kit with me to make it the right height, so I hope you can see me here. Okay, so let's talk about the beginning first. I think there was a lot of kind of anxious anticipation before I started my withdrawal process, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and I'd done all this planning and all the maths to make sure that I was reducing slow enough, week by week, day by day, etc. So that was a bit kind of, I was nervous beforehand, but also kind of excited as well, because I was finally kind of taking charge and I was doing something that I'd wanted to do for a long time, and I wanted to see how it went, and I thought that I'd kind of planned it well enough that it would all go all right. But when something actually, when you put it into place, you don't know how it's going to go, so I wasn't sure about that. So before I started reducing, I thought a difficult moment would be when I imagined or worked out when I would be going out of the therapeutic range. And so for me, I thought that'd be really difficult, which was kind of probably about 1/3 of the way through the process. But actually, when it came to it, if you look at my overview, I've got some month overview films in my taper and withdrawal playlist, where you can see I talk about this in more detail. And so when I actually got to that stage, actually it was all fine, and I didn't notice anything particularly weird or different around that time, so that was okay. So for me, there was somewhere in the middle that I found tricky. It's weird, you can't really see my eyes. Is that better? Yeah, around the middle somewhere, where I felt wobbly and I felt like I wasn't sure whether I should reduce or not. There was kind of 3 days there where I was kind of feeling a bit more anxious than usual, maybe slightly manic. But I think it was the anxiety that was creating the kind of sensations more than actual reality of reducing. And I remember as soon as I'd spoken to my withdrawal buddy in Canada, I felt a lot more reassured and a lot more calm. And so after that chat, I didn't really feel anxious anymore, and I thought, okay, I'm in charge, I know what to do. And during those 3 days, I didn't reduce my dose at all. I just stayed level. And she said, don't worry, even if you feel like you have to go up a dose, you're not going backwards, it's fine. You're just kind of helping your way through at this stage that you're finding tricky, and then you can reduce again when you feel ready. But in the end, I didn't have to up my dose, I just kept it the same. So for me, those 3 days was the most difficult. So when you think about the whole, month process, just having 3 days that was emotionally challenging was actually like a pretty low percentage of having, possible emotionally challenging time. I think there might have been times when I felt like maybe I was a bit less supported by my husband, and I kind of really needed to make a point to take him aside and to make him part of the process and me talking about my worries. And so there were times when I felt a bit more alone, and where I felt maybe I needed more support. And then I just kind of, I made a point to kind of have a conversation with him or with my buddy, to kind of reconnect and not feel alone in the situation, and that he knew what was going on and where I was at with my reducing. And I'd show him my chart, and I'd cross off my list, what I'd already done and where I was at, and talking about the future and things. So that was really important, to keep the lines of communication open for my emotional well-being. And talking about the end, most people get anxious and reduce the final dose too fast. So Dr Breggin says this, apparently. This is what my subscriber says. And I would say near the end, because I knew I'd got over the therapeutic range, and obviously you're, right at the end, like the pill that I was taking was so tiny, and I was like, yeah, but what's the point? Maybe I should just not take it at all. But at the same time, I'd gone through so many months, and I knew my body was still adjusting every little step of the way. And yes, I did want to reduce faster near the end. But at the same time, I didn't want to mess up and put my body through kind of a shock process if I didn't have to. And I wanted to succeed right till the end, right till zero. And for me, it was a nice idea to reduce quicker, but at the same time I wanted to keep up my patience levels and to keep going progressively and slowly right until the very end, because then I thought, well, I'm giving this, it felt like my last shot, even though of course there would have been other times in the future where I could have done it again if I hadn't succeeded. But I really wanted that time. I really wanted to succeed. And for me, succeeding was being in small, progressive, diminishing, week by week. And in the end, I was able to reduce faster than my plan. And I did do it bit by bit. But there were times when I just felt, well, this is going so well, that I did reduce it a little bit faster than I was going to. But it's kind of when you're going through the process, you can kind of just feel your way, and you kind of, I knew when I was feeling stable. I knew when I was feeling secure mentally, and I knew that I could, that night, instead of reducing 5 milligrams, I might be able to do 7 or 8 milligrams instead. And then, you feel your way that next day. And if you have like a day when you're a bit more wobbly, you can manage it, and you can be the one in charge of how much to reduce or to not reduce at all. And I think because I put myself in charge, and I empowered myself, I felt confident that I could do it in my own way. Now, I'm not saying that that's right for everyone, and I still feel that there are some people out there that need support and psychiatric help with professionals. So yeah, please don't everyone just, jump off the cliff. I didn't jump off the cliff, but for some of you it might feel like that if you're suddenly, okay, I'm going to do it on my own. I did a lot of research before I went into the process. I did a lot of reading. I went onto the Inner Compass website and I read up what people had been talking about and how they went about it. There's really detailed tables and graphs and things that you can look at, and then you can work out your dosage, how much you're taking, how long you've been on it, how long it should take you to come off it, etc. So there's a lot of work that goes behind it. It's not just something, okay, I'm going to give it a go and just, do it, start tomorrow. I spent months, if not years, researching and working out how I was going to do it. So it's not just something to do willy-nilly. Take my advice on that, please. yeah, so I think I've spoken about the beginning, middle, and end. I hope for my subscriber that was answering all of those questions that you had there. So yeah, I think the emotionally challenging aspects, it kind of went up and down as time went by, and I just had to find the right people in my life to talk to for those particular moments when I was feeling anxious or struggling with the sensations, the physical sensations in my body, and be patient, wait, analyze myself day by day, make reflections on how I'd been feeling and where to go next. So yeah, I think I've said it all. I've rounded it up there in a nutshell. So the next film is talking about are there any aspects that I thought would improve after my taper that maybe haven't improved yet. And this person asks about kidney function, thirst, memory, any other cognitive functions. So I will talk about that next. I'll see you on the next film. Bye, guys.